Eliud Kipchoge has proven once and for all that no human being is limited. He became the first person to run a marathon in under 2 hours. The race took place in Vienna, Austria, where Kipchoge ran the 42 kilometers in a time of 1 hour, 59 minutes, 40 seconds. With the barrier in tatters, athletes around the globe are asking big questions. How did he do it? What was his training like? Is there another goal after this? Stay tuned as we explore the answers. First off, the race itself. Kipchoge, a 34-year-old Kenyan, started his landmark achievement at 8:15 CEST on the Reichensbruck Bridge in Vienna. The weather was perfect, the temperature around 9 degrees Celsius, and the wind was in the back with speeds in between 0.5 and 1.5 meters per second. It couldn't have been more ideal. The circuit was 4.4 laps of the Hop to Alu, a historic tree-lined avenue in the Prater. It was picked as the location of the Ineos 159 challenge because it is a long, flat, straight section and is also wind protected. Vienna was out in full force to bear witness to history being made. Thousands of spectators lined the course in support of Kipchoge and his team of 41 pacemakers. The team featured some of the world top, middle, and long distance runners. Okay, but how is Kipchoge's run? Kipchoge set a consistent pace of around 2.50 minutes per kilometer throughout. A speed of between 2.48 and 2.52 minutes per kilometer was used to complete each mile. To cacophonous noise, Kipchoge crossed the line in the historical time of 1.59.40 and became the first human to break the 2-hour barrier for this distance. Now Kipchoge's personal mantra, this incredible achievement underlines Kipchoge's mantra, no human is limited. And the record places him alongside runners like Sir Roger Bannister, who ran the first sub-4-minute mile in 1954 when it was believed that time wasn't even possible. Kipchoge now shares the record books with Usain Bolt, whose 9.58 time in the 100 meters has been standing since 2009. Also, what Kipchoge had to say about this historical record? On becoming the first human to run a marathon in under 2 hours, Eliud Kipchoge said, quote, "It is a great feeling to make history in the sport after Sir Roger Bannister set the first sub-4-minute mile in 1954. I am the happiest man in the world to be the first human to run for under 2 hours, and I can tell people that no human is limited. I expect more people worldwide to run under 2 hours after today." He went on to talk about his team. Quote, "The pacemakers did a great job. They are among the best runners of all time. I thank them and appreciate them for accepting to the job. I wanted to run for under 2 hours and show human beings can do a good job and lead a good life. It shows the positivity of support. I want to make the sport an interesting sport whereby all human beings can run and together we can make this world beautiful." And others also weighed in. Chairman of Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, said, quote, "That was sensational. It isn't easy to believe it happened because it happened so quickly. The last kilometer he accelerated and came through on his own was just superhuman. I can't even believe he did it. I can't believe he ran the first half marathon in less than an hour and then he had to do that again." Okay, so what are the 4 takeaways from Eliud Kipchoge's training? The training regime of an athlete who has just claimed the title of greatest of all time could give a fascinating insight to athletes worldwide. Then, the achievements that led up to this historical race. Kipchoge is brilliant and dominant in the marathon. It's easy to underappreciate his contribution to the sport. This raises the question, how could you ever understand the context of history while living in the middle? And saying Eliud Kipchoge is great is an understatement. He outran great around half a decade ago. He should now be classified as some miracle. Coach Steve Magnus outlined Kipchoge's accomplishments on Twitter. Since 2013, he has won 17 of the 19 marathons he'd entered. His 2 slowest times during that period both won Olympic gold medals. He broke the 2-hour barrier once before, but that was in an unsanctioned event. He came close another time. His coach also said, quote, "This is Sandy Koufax in the 1960s mixed with Michael Jordan in the 1990s mixed with a malfunctioning ATM that keeps on spitting out $20 bills." Okay, but why are marathons so captivating? Marathons are the stuff of myths and legends tracing their origins back to ancient Greece. They are, simply put, physical and psychological nightmares. In 2021, study was published in the Journal of Applied Physiology, looked at the physical characteristics of a sub-2-hour marathon. What they found was fascinating. It requires holding an exceptionally even extremely high volume of VO2 max, combined with metabolic and aerobic efficiency that operates near conceivable limits. The study said what seemed physiologically and psychologically impossible less than a decade ago only took otherworldly otherworldly talent, an astounding work ethic, and years of training to happen. It ended up taking an athlete at the 99.99th percentile of humanity in talent and toughness and focusing on breaking the barrier. So, let's start with the 4 takeaways from Eliud Kipchoge's training. Digging around in the training regimes of greatest of all time athletes provides all kinds of answers and, of course, questions. What allows someone to put a Grand Canyon between themselves and their nearest competitors? Firstly, most of Kipchoge's training is easy. Kipchoge's recovery runs start a little more than a shuffle. He typically does an 8:30 to 8:45 minute per mile pace and slowly builds up to finish between 6.30 and 7 minutes per mile. Then Kipchoge does high volume training, but nothing higher than other world-class athletes. In total, Kipchoge does around 125 to 135 miles per week. It's probably around 16 to 17 hours of running per week. Here, Kipchoge's training is a slap bang in the middle of the average. He doesn't run harder, farther, or longer than average world-class athletes when he trains, and just a couple of months before his 38th birthday, he's getting faster and faster. Also, Kipchoge runs controlled workouts and disciplined intensity control. This is where it's hard to get an athlete's buy-in. Faster is often not better in workouts, but for many athletes, this is counterintuitive. Athletes would typically ask, if you can do mile repeats at 6 minutes, why do them at 6.30? Kipchoge himself says, quote, I try not to run 100%. I perform 80% on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and then 50% on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. If you analyze that statement, you'll find that 80% of days are for workouts and 50% of days are easy runs. And when it brings 100% on race days, he blows everybody's socks off. Then Kipchoge does quality long runs only on weekends. Most athletes could probably benefit from a steadier pace in the long run, as Kipchoge does. The key to have the discipline to prevent the run from turning into a race-like effort. Once you exceed lactate thresholds, you could counteract the aerobic benefits from these training runs. So why is Kipchoge's personal advice? Kipchoge was quick to fire off a couple of tweets after the race. Limits are to be broken, he wrote. By you and me together, I can say that I am beyond happy today, and the official world record is once again faster. Thank you to all the runners and in the world that inspire me every day to push myself. Second to last, Kipchoge is the ultimate gentleman and sportsman. Even in his greatest triumph, Kipchoge remains humble and grateful. He's an inspiration for every other runner. So, what is it that makes runners so uniquely kind and caring? Think of Eliud, Killian, Courtney, Claire, and countless others using their platform to spread love. It is probably this. With Kipchoge pushes the limits of what he's capable of and what humanity can achieve, he feels all the same chemical and emotional sensations we all feel when we push our limits. Sure, we may be doing it differently, or in that case of running, a little slower, but there is a universal truth to be found at everybody's stage. And finally, lessons for all from this magnificent run. What do you see when you peer over the edge? Can I do this? Or can I even begin this? Can I lose faith in myself and then find it all over again? Running, especially the way Kipchoge does it, can be the most beautiful thing in the world, but it can suck too. Discipline, persistence, patience, and a never-say-die attitude are what it's all about. If you've ever attempted a marathon, you'll know it can be a brutal reminder of death and a magnificent transcendent affirmation of life. And then there are a few runners on the planet for whom the questions change. They busy themselves by asking, can I run a world record? And that's where the next journey starts. What is possible with my time here on Earth? What a magnificent man and what an inspirational athlete. That's it for today, my friends. Thank you so much for coming by the channel. We'll see you in the next one.